Okay, outnumbered overtime. OT, baby, Joe Concha. This is 10 minutes of no commercials, and you can talk about whatever the heck you want. And viewers watch and weigh in.
Okay, I've never left a happy hour
and
for 1 hour. It's not possible.
I mind you that this video does live on the internet. It's live now, and it lives on, and there's no delay. So
you're saying that
about
you've been
earlier,
warned.
right?
pain is temporary, film is forever?
Yeah.
Yes,
Got it right this time.
Thank you. Yes, indeed.
Good chemistry today, though.
So let me log in and see what viewers are saying about you, Joe.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Meanwhile, what was your favorite discussion?
Oh, well, I think it was when Lisa talked about there wasn't any truth in institutions and made me repeat it again. Just because she likes hearing herself get
Thank you for appeasing me.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Otherwise, no, you guys did a tremendous job outside of your inability to read, Sandra. I think
yeah, no, thank you for that. It's a strong reminder to go do my my speech workout before the next show. All right, so right now a lot of people weighing in on North Korea. This is a big discussion on the online chat. People are very concerned, and rightly so.
I mean, there aren't that many options out there right now, and it feels like, Marie, this game of chicken, if you would, right, where it's now turned into a war of words. I know you don't like the words that the president is saying, but I think it needs to be made clear to this guy that we are who we are, and we're not afraid to use our might.
Well, and that's the thing. We were talking earlier in one of the breaks. During the Cold War, the reason we didn't use nuclear weapons on each other was mutually assured destruction, that we each knew if we did it, the other country would respond and we'd both be destroyed. With North Korea, they can't destroy us. They could hit us, they could kill a lot of Americans, but they can't destroy the United States. So we have to make clear to them that if they do that, they will have assured destruction, that we will bring fire and fury, if you want me to use the president's words, down on them as a deterrent. And that's not a perfect solution because, yes, that will mean they keep their weapons. But at this point, for me, that seems almost like the least bad option.
What's wrong with saying that? I mean, he's just telling them what we know.
But President Trump has done a lot in trying to deal with North Korea. We've seen him trying to work the president of China over in, multiple meetings, both in front of the scenes and we know behind the scenes as well, reaching out to our ally South Korea, Japan as well. We've seen him deploy THAAD, trying to prepare to defend the homeland if necessary. We've also seen the president look at, economic actions, as we talked about during the show, the UN resolution targeting 1/3 of North Korea's trade, of that $3 billion number. I think the president has done a lot in trying to engage, trying to engage our allies and trying to deter North Korea. So, I mean, I don't quite know what else the president could be doing. And I really just don't think he gets any credit for the actions of his administration. You look at Nikki Haley being a rock star.
She is a rock star.
But she's also part of his administration. And I've heard people try to separate the two, but he chose her to be his UN ambassador. So they've done a lot. And I just feel like there's this, everyone just wants to focus on that one line as opposed to all these other things that the president has been doing.
So
it's not fair.
I think the reason we focus on that line, and this is not me being some, liberal who just hates everything he does, is because Kim Jong-un is crazy, as you said. There's such, it feels like we're in an escalatory cycle right now, and I just don't want anything that the president says to be misinterpreted, to be overreacted to by a crazy man who then reacts and forces us to react. Like, I just don't want this to cause a cycle of escalation that turns military.
But we've already seen that escalation.
We haven't seen live active, like you said in the show, we haven't seen live active military confrontation with North Korea. They haven't launched missiles at Guam. They haven't taken shots at our guys on the DMZ. I think we need to get to a place where that is doesn't feel like it's coming very fast. And I think that's why viewers are probably so concerned.
I'd like to see more coordination with the messaging, however, and not just with the getting a director of communications in, but also in the meantime, that particular responsibility falls to General Kelly, the new chief of staff. He needs to get everybody on a conference call, which will probably be pretty easy. Okay, I want Tillerson, I want Mattis, I want the president, I want Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I want all their spokespeople, Heather Nauert as well, another rock star. And okay, here is the military message. Mattis is going to handle that. And then Tillerson, you're going to talk about the diplomatic side. And Mr. President, this is what these guys are going to say. Say what you like, but keep in mind what they're going to say. Just coordinate that before you know the president's going to be in front of reporters communication. I think you could avoid these news cycles, which are stupid. I agree. They shouldn't quite focus on this as much. That needs to be done, that sort of coordination. Boom.
Do you think, Lisa, that he is weighing in with anyone? I mean, I imagine he is consulting some people. He had a window of time before he spoke and used the fire and fury, which I think was very deliberate. I think he absolutely, positively knew what he was saying, and he chose those words specifically. I don't know as he did this all on his own. I do think that he's consulting. It may not be a director of communications in terms of title, but he has people around him, and this was thought through, Lisa.
Well, and I agree with both of you in the sense I do think they need a communications director. I've worked in political communication, so of course I think staying on message is a positive thing. But to your point, I do think he intentionally said it as well. And we also, as I mentioned during the show, we saw Secretary Mattis essentially echo that comment that President Trump made. We do have Secretary Tillerson saying something different, but I also think that that's reflective of if you listen to him talk. I mean, the guy's kind of monotone. He's very measured. That's sort of his stance, period, as the nation's top diplomat. So I think they're intentionally, but they're all sort of saying the same thing as well. Like, we want to do this in the most peaceful possible way. Of course, we don't want to go to war with North Korea.
That Trump's tweet puts forward that he wants to do this in the most peaceful way.
Yeah, President Trump has tweeted that as well. He's put out stuff.
That's not the tone of that tweet.
No, the tone of that tweet is stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it now, or else you're going to deal with us. And you know what? That's what everyone has said. I mean, Nikki Haley has said the same thing. His advisor,
she doesn't mince words either.
On the show the other day said the same thing. You've got Mattis saying the same thing. You've got Tillerson saying that, albeit in a different tone. Everybody has their own style, but it's the same exact message.
The president's words just carry so much weight. And I don't know how Kim Jong-un is looking at them. And I think we're all worried about that.
The problem that happens when we analyze Fire and Fury, and thank God he didn't use Fire and Blood, because that would be a direct steal from Game of Thrones season 7,
Fire and Fury
3.
is from that video game.
Oh,
also from a video game, War of Warcraft or
Fire and Furious?
Yes.
I don't play.
Is it really?
I have 3 brothers, but I'm not video games. I'm not.
But I think as a media, what we do is we take our eye off the ball in terms of, okay, what kind of capability do the North Koreans really have in terms of accuracy? And you got to dig deep in a lot of stories to find out that the guidance systems that they use are Soviet. You know what Soviet tells me? That's before 1989.
I agree.
And I don't know if you used GPS before 1989, but I ended up in Wisconsin one time. It got the crap beaten out of it.
Oh, dear. Well, here's President Truman's comment that he made. Quote, expect a rain of ruin from the air, the likes of which has never been seen on this earth. So I do think there was a very deliberate message that Donald Trump, our president, had, and it may have been echoing back to Truman, but he's basically saying, yeah, you know, if you try this, it's going to mean the end of you.
What if he called Kim Jong-un and the North Korean regime an evil empire? Boy, you think that would have gone over well? Because Reagan did that with the Soviets, and I believe that worked, and he didn't get a lot of criticism
Bush
for it.
Bush did it with Axis of Evil. So
we've all established that
did Obama have one? Did he have a nice little
have been made in the past.
Slogans clearly haven't fixed it, so let's not rely too much on slogans.
President Trump is catching a lot of heat over it. So, I just think there's a double standard there, for sure.
Because I think for the first time, look, supporters of Donald Trump like that he's unpredictable. I've heard supporters say unpredictability can be a strategy or a tactic, and that sometimes that may be good.
Because it looks authentic.
Because it keeps your adversaries on their toes.
Or that.
I think what makes me concerned is that he is unpredictable, and I don't know how this really crazy, unpredictable leader in North Korea is going to act, and it feels like we're in a moment where this could escalate very quickly, and I just want people to take deep breaths.
But alternatively,
that's all I want.
People really the people that very much dislike President Trump, one, don't give him any credit, and they're incapable of seeing through some of these things and the actual actions, which I've spoken to in overtime and also on the show. And second, there's repeatedly this complete double standard with the president, both in you guys echoing previous presidents who have said similar things, yet that's not a problem. When President Trump says something like this, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world.
When those presidents did it, it was in coordinated statements that they planned. It wasn't 140 characters.
And then secondly, as well,
which is a difference.
We also established with even something as silly as the Trump TV and the videos and the fact that President Obama can do it. Oh, no big deal, no problem here, nothing to see here, guys.
It's a total
and then President Trump and everybody loses their minds.
It's like total double standard. Look, the media doesn't like him. All right, the media, you know,
he doesn't like the media.
That's fair.
That's true.
Understandably, if you don't like me, I don't like you, right?
And guess what?
The enemy of the American people.
But But, okay, the media doesn't like him, and they're not willing to give him any credit. And by the way, if he makes any kind of teeny little, what they perceive as mistake, they'll go after him in a way that they would have given others a pass.
All right, many thanks to
overtime.
First-timer Joe Concha. Don't forget about this one. We'll be back on TV tomorrow at noon.